Alright, wanted to jump on today and do another video to keep this momentum going since I was off for so long. I feel like I got to get back to doing these on a more basis. So today I was just trying to maybe add on to a little bit about yesterday, just with meditation and the benefits of it. So, because again, as anything in life, you're not gonna, bench press once and be able to bench press 500 pounds. Anything you do, you got to keep doing it with repetition. And like doing meditation once or twice might help you for a minute, but you're not really going to get the long term benefits unless you start to practice it every day. And I know on my journey, I never thought I was going to be able to get to that point where I was going to do it every day. I remember growing up, like listening to Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra, and Wayne Dyer always said, if you want to reach the highest version of yourself, you have to meditate every day. And I was like, my mind was going so crazy, like I could barely settle down at all. I didn't even know how to meditate at the time. It just sounded good. Like I was like, all right, well, I see what has happened from these guys, because both of them in their early years were partiers and didn't really do it either until they were a little bit older in life too. So I didn't start doing it every day until I was 31. So in like my mid to late 30s, I was always wondering, am I ever going to be able to do this? Am I ever going to be able to get to that point where I do it every day? I was like, I can't even sit down and relax at all, because your mind is going so crazy, then your body goes crazy, and then an event happens in your life, and then you're like, oh my God, and then the mind keeps going. And so there's so much going on that I had to learn how to settle down. And then even when I started to do it, like I could sit there and try to do it, and I'd keep looking at the clock and opening my eyes. I'd be like, all right, I got to be almost at that 20-minute mark. And then I'd look over and it hasn't even been 3 minutes. And I'm like, what is going on? And by the time the mind gets so crazy, that ego, like I was talking about yesterday, does everything it can to stop you from doing it, because it fears it's going to lose control over you. And like I said before, that's the angel and the devil on your shoulder. Like they always depict it in cartoons, where the ego is the devil and the higher self is the angel, and it's always trying to tell you, don't worry about it, you got this. And the other one's like, no you don't, you can't do this, stop. And so the body's trying to do everything it can to stop you from doing it, because it doesn't want you to settle down. But that's like Tony Robbins always says, what I say goes. That's where you gotta, when he jumps in the water every day, he doesn't want to do it, but he's trained his mind to say, we're doing this no matter what. And I feel like that's what you have to do with meditation, is that you have to tell yourself that we're going to do this, that this needs to be done, that it's helpful, and you're not going to lose control over yourself. The ego is not going to go away. You just got to learn to have a better relationship with it and realize when you need it. Because sometimes you need the ego when someone tells you can't do something. You're like, oh yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, that's a good thing, because it motivates you to get things done, or maybe do something you didn't think you could before. So again, there are good scenarios for it, but trying to get you not to meditate is not one of those scenarios, because the meditation, the benefits of it are so great. So again, I was able finally to go on a meditation retreat, and I didn't even think it was the start of it. We just meditated for 7 days. And then at the very last day, they're like, creating a habit usually takes about 21 days. So we challenge to, and it seems like whenever someone challenges me, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it, just like the 30-day challenge. And then they said, we already helped you with 7, so we challenge you for the next 14 days to meditate every day. And then 14 turned into, God, over 18 years. So it's something that helps. It's better to do it when you first get up. It's better to, they used to always say RPM, rise, P, meditate, because then you get it out of the way before you turn on your phone, turn on your TV, turn on anything, because then once you turn something on, you get distracted. Like again, I find myself some days where I don't do it right away, and I look at my phone, and then next thing you know, an hour goes by and I haven't even meditated. And so I'm trying to get back in the habit of not doing that, of doing it the first thing when I wake up, because it's better just to get it out of the way and then go about your day. And then in that like process of completing the meditation, then your body begins to relax, your mind begins to relax, and it improves your mental health. Like your mind doesn't race as much. It helps you reduce stress and anxiety and depression, and it just creates a better sense of well-being inside you too. It helps relax you. And like I said the other day, I've noticed that over the years, the more I meditate, the more I get focused in this moment, the more that like, things don't bother me as much, and everything kind of just rolls off me. Now again, I'm not perfect, and it is difficult, and there's still going to be like scenarios that come up in your life where you're not going to handle it well, but you will have less and less of these the more you do it. And they used to always say is like you might find yourself making better choices and better decisions, because before I used to drink and party all the time, and now I say that meditation is the like substitute for that, and it helps me not be able to have to do that as much, instead of going for self-medicate if there's a problem. Meditation almost like takes away that burden of the problem. So again, I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying it will handle everything, but it definitely will help you handle things better. And then I've also noticed too, like focus and concentration is definitely better than it used to be. Like I used to have to take ADD medication back in the day too, and yeah, that stuff helps, but there's always a come down from it. Where meditation, I've learned over the years, has helped me focus more, and I haven't took that medication in years. Do I have the focus that you get sometimes from taking those? Not all the time, but I'm able to get on here. Before, I couldn't do any of this stuff I couldn't go to school without it. I couldn't do any of this stuff without it. So, and now I find myself doing the meditations, and it helps me get into that flow, and it helps me get that focus and concentration. And then I'm able to get on here and just relax in this moment and talk. And then kind of by that state of relaxation and just being me helps me figure out what it is I want to talk about. And then I ask for it too. So, but again, that's the thing, is before I didn't know all these things. So meditating every day helps you learn a little bit more about yourself, gives you a better self-confidence boost and self-awareness. The more you know about yourself, like I said before, with all those limiting beliefs and limiting thoughts that you get sometimes through your experiences when you're younger, you're able to kind of see where they're at. Because if you don't, they get stuck in your subconscious, unconscious mind, and they're there, and you act from them, even though you don't really realize you're there, because you're not, they're in your subconscious, so you're not always conscious of them, but they're there. So they will stop you from doing things. Like it stopped me from getting on here and doing this stuff. Like I was always afraid. God, I was so afraid of public speaking before I started meditating. There was no way you'd catch me dead doing this stuff. So again, and that's what I'm saying. Over the years, I've been able to look at myself, find out some of the things that were stopping me, find out some of the things that I wasn't comfortable with in myself, and realize that was from other people, and that was other people's thoughts. And it kind of, but that self-reflection, that self-awareness of what's going on inside of you. And then like little by little, they would teach us that the layers are here. Here's what we see in the conscious, and down here is the unconscious. And meditation brings you down to the unconscious, and then stuff will bubble up to the surface. And then you can be like, oh my God, I had this, and I remember having these things where I'm like, oh my God, this teacher was like rude to me one time in the lunch line when I was a kid, and it really upset me. And I was like, wow, she must have just been having a bad day. That wasn't my fault. Everybody else was being loud and absurd too. But I had forgotten all about that. But like little experiences like that you forget about, that were buried in your subconscious, bubble up to the surface. Then you're able to like kind of reanalyze it as an adult, and then be like, wow, that doesn't do it, and you kind of let it go. But those are the things that are stored inside of us. That's just one example. There's plenty of them. I can't tell anybody what their examples are. That's just one of my examples that I remember having during this journey. So again, it's the practice that keeps, you keep looking more deeper and deeper and deeper inside yourself. And the more you'll see these things, the more you'll help release them. And then sometimes you'll just release stuff and you won't even know why. And then like I said, that's why I kind of over the last week I was releasing stuff because I started doing these new meditations. So I had to kind of take a few days off too after the wedding because it was the combination of everything. But you have to release that stuff and able to go farther. And the more you do that, the more you become more comfortable with who you are and realize that it doesn't matter. You just got to be you. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I used to be so afraid of other people's opinions of me, like I was letting them down and all that stuff. Now I'm just like, hey man, this ain't about me. This is about me becoming me, you becoming you, you realizing these things in yourself, and then doing whatever it is you feel compelled to do. Because again, I'm doing this because I want people to see that there's more. We can become more at any points in our lives. And as long as we get that focus and do that meditation and start to look inside of ourselves, we don't need outside validation and everything. It's nice when it comes, but at the end of the day, I remember it was either Tony or Dean was saying that when you make it about the other person, make it about your clients, make it about the people you're talking to, and how this information can help them become more, help them figure stuff out, then it doesn't matter what's going on here. Because you know what? My main focus is to help people realize this stuff by showing my own journey, being myself, showing that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be you, it's okay to be authentic. And if, you know, you're going to get judged no matter what. So what's the difference? You might as well just keep talking and do whatever it is that you say and what you want to do. And that's the thing, is these are some of the realizations I've had over the years of meditating that I didn't have before I started meditating. And again, there's all kinds of other stuff, like it helps your sleep, it helps your emotional well-being, helps you have a greater sense of kindness and compassion. It helps your immunity, it boosts your immune system. There's been studies to show that it reduces inflammation, and I know it helps with the fight or flight too. You know, when you're in a situation where you want to fight or flight, when you help to focus in the moment and realize that you don't have to do that anymore, the saber-toothed tiger ain't coming anymore. The fight and flight, better run from it or fight it. I mean, obviously a saber-toothed tiger, you're probably going to want to run, but you know what I mean. So we get that response in us is triggered all the time. So again, I still get triggered from time to time. I'm a human being, we all are. But I definitely do not get it triggered as much as I did when I was younger. I used to fly off the handle all the time. Now it's, 2-3 times a year, maybe once a month. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to it. But anyway, I know it's less than it was when I was younger and before I started meditating. So, and then it also helps with your blood. Jeez, I can't speak again. I get too excited and want to speak too fast sometimes. But it lowers your blood pressure. It helps improve physical health and that in that way. And then it also helps with stress hormone release. It helps you relax. And then it also just gives you you get a better relationship management with yourself. You become more aware of your emotions. So again, there's a lot of good benefits to it, but you have to create your own practice. You have to do it every single day and get into that flow. And if you miss a day, well then, get back to it the next day. Just don't be too hard on yourself for the things you do and you don't. But, I do it twice a day, once when I get up and one time in the morning. I mean, that's pretty, a lot. So, but again, if you can only do it once a day to start, once a day is better than nothing. They always tried to get us to do it for a half hour in the morning and a half hour at night. So, and most of it, I've done it at least once a day, every day for 18 years now. Probably 9 out of 10 days I'm doing it at night too. Every once in a while I get a day I don't. But again, then I do it again the next day. So, but anyway. So yeah, like and subscribe to the video. Just trying to get this stuff out more. I want people to become more aware of who they are. I want them to step into their own personal power. And I think meditation helps you become more aware of that stuff that's inside you and helps let go of the ideas and the limiting beliefs. And it helps us get back to our true power, because we all have power within us. But we have to look within us to find it sometimes. It's there. But again, meditation helps you close your eyes and look inside, because sometimes you're not going to find that power on the outside. You got to find it within and then push it out to the outside world. So again, that's my message for today. Have a good day.